Hey folks, how you doing? This is Tim Michael with TimMichaelArts.com, here with the watercolor tutorial I've been promising you guys forever. We actually did record this tutorial already with a drawing that I did of producer Chris, but of course I hated the drawing. So here we are drawing Mr. Lee, or we just call him Lee. He is my character from my comic series No Clue and Saints Alive. This is a drawing that I did when I took my mother out to, actually she took me out on Mother's Day dinner. And we saw some really good food out where we went, and I was really hungry, and so when I sat down I was kind of inspired to do this sketch that you guys are seeing here. I'm using a Winsor Newton color palette watercolor kit. It's called the Plus series. If you want more information on this kit, you can go and check out my other channel, Tim Michael Arts 2, where one of those videos on there, I don't remember what the title of it is, one of those videos in Tim Michael Arts 2 actually shows the walkthrough of that kit. You can check that out. And if you look directly to my right, next to my hand, you will see a jar there. That's just a maraschino cherry jar, and just a nice small one. And I like that because I can stick that, and this watercolor kit in a normal-sized fanny pack, including a couple pens and pencils, and literally have every single thing I need to draw right on the spot. All I need is a fanny pack and a sketchbook, and everything's included. So that's what I like. I like being able to have that that portability. All right, now let's get down with the technique here. As you can see, I'm already working on this a little bit. What I am doing first is I'm working on the shadows. And I like doing shadows on the bottom right. So the light is coming in from the top left, and anything on the bottom right side is going to be shaded. So under this arm here, as you can see me doing, on the side of the face, on underneath the eyebrows, underneath the nose, underneath the chin, which I see that I haven't done the neck yet, but I will do that in a little while. Let me think here. Then we're going to go in with a light wash in a little bit and fill that in, but we're going to leave white spots in certain areas for highlight tones. I am recording this after I've already done the drawing, so I'm trying to remember what I did, where I did it, and when I did it, so bear with me as we go through here. I am using a XL, let me see here, I got the sketch pad right in front of me with the finished drawing here. I am using a XL mixed media sketchbook made by Canson. The size is 7x10. I like how small it is. Once again, portability is very key in my business, so being able to move around and do this wherever I want. The brush that you see me using in this video is a No. 6 S85 Robert Simmons brush. I like it a lot because the bristles are firm, and it's also a larger brush, so I can still get the details with the fine tip on the end, but at the same time it allows me to put a little pressure on it without having to worry about the bristles spreading out on me here. The brush that comes with the Winsor Newton Cotman Plus kit that you see me using here is actually a No. 3, I want to say, No. 3 or No. 2 brush. I'm going to say No. 3, and its bristles are very fine, and they don't hold their shape nearly as well as my No. 6 does. As you can see, I put a cloth over next to one side of me here just to speed up the process. You don't have to have one handy. It's good to have one handy, but you don't have to have one as much. If you don't mind taking the time to simply wring out the brush on the side of your water bottle, jar, whatever you're using to store your water in. As you can see, I'm already starting to get in the inner colors now that the shading is nearly done here. This is the basic tutorial, so I only did one layer of shading. What I'm doing here, though, is I have a much larger mix of water than paint, which allows it to have more of a wash. You have to experience it for yourself and kind of experiment with different balances, different ratios of water to paint, and even different brands have different balances. But if you look carefully, you'll see that I'm leaving a couple of areas white on the tip of the nose, on the cheek, on the forehead, and areas like that where I really want those areas to stand out as highlights. Best way to know where to do that is simply to watch TV and watch people walk around you in a new light. Yeah, you do that every day, but now try and do it and experience those colors in your head. You can see the world in a whole new way if you are willing to look at it in that different way, and none of us even think about it until after the fact. So as you can see, even though I'm painting it full and thick, it is still only putting down a wash because I'm using less paint and more water, and I'm drawing on a painting on a flat surface, so it keeps it from dripping. And even then, if I was painting on a surface where it would be standing up, it would still not drip because I've learned that ratio that's comfortable for me. Okay, so I'm nearly done with my skin tones here, and if I'm correct, if I remember, I think I'm going to start doing the shirt next. So same idea as I've done before with all the other stuff here once we get down to it, because obviously I'm thinking ahead. Like I said, this is all recorded after the fact, so I'm trying to remember what comes next. What you're about to see, though, is you're about to see me do the exact same thing to the shirt and to the pants and to the shoes and everything else in here that I did to the skin. And the basic idea is darks to lights. You start in the dark areas and you work your way to the light areas. See, I'm going to go ahead and clean out my brush all the way. Just a couple quick dabs in the water and a couple quick dabs on the cloth. And grab my blue, and I like different type of denim blues. I like cobalt blues. You'll see that I used maybe 2 values of the same blue in certain areas, and I use like a gray tone for the jeans. You'll see here in a second. But I'm going to start off with a really dark blue on this guy. Now let me explain the sketch as I'm doing something that I've already done here. I've already told you guys how to shade from dark to light. This sketch was done completely with a Zebra ballpoint pen. And the Zebra ballpoint pen works really nice because it gets those very fine lines. And the thing that I like about that especially is that I can even do cross-hatching, and it really brings out some just different style that I don't see in a lot of cartoonists' work. And my characters have a very classic cartoonist feel that I really like, especially when they're in watercolor. When they go into the digital scene, they change up a little bit, but when they are on my sketch pads, I love having this designed look. So I want the chest to stick out a little bit, so that's why I shaded the bottom of the chest more than the top, and I don't know if you can see, I can't see it as clearly. I did cross-hatching on the lower chest to stomach area, and I also made sure to use a thicker paint in that area as well, which makes it darker. Now I'm using like a cobalt blue, a lighter blue, just to make the shirt look a little brighter. I didn't want it to look like it was worn out in the washer. I wanted it to stand out. So I'm going to put this blue in here first, and I'm going to do it and just block it in. And then in a second here, I'll go ahead and get some water, and I'm going to dilute it, but I'm not going to dilute it so it loses its color. I'm going to dilute it so I can spread it out a little bit more. You'll see here in just a second. So what I wanted to do is I want to make sure that it is a bright looking shirt. So what I did was I used vibrancy over value. What I mean is I didn't go more white to show the sun hitting it. I went more vibrant blue to show more of the color in the shirt. And it doesn't affect the shadows as much. It can a little bit. But what I did was I changed up the shadows by making sure that they were a different color on the shirt. And you can see that here. I think I'm going to touch up the mouth here real quick, and then we'll see what I do after this, because I don't remember. I do know on the pants, I don't know if it's time to talk about the pants, but on the pants I did a blue-gray for deep shadow, and then I went a slightly lighter blue-gray. Yep, here we go. It almost looks like a black, but once it dries, all your watercolors dry just a little bit brighter than what you put them down as, which is nice and not nice. Here's the reason why I say that. When you paint hair, especially black hair, it ends up turning gray, so it's better to use a marker if you're going to do that. But in other ways, I like the fact that the watercolors do that, because they bring out a lot more, once again, vibrancy. My artwork is known for its vibrancy, lots of color in it in simple ways. Now you'll see I'm putting down a second layer there, and it's a little bit brighter. Well, first off, the paint had kind of come out of the brush, so now I was using whatever paint was left in the brush, which was a slightly lighter gray, which I definitely wanted to do. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on the other leg here. As you can see, same idea. I'm going to use the dark blue-gray, and it's going to slowly run out of the brush, and once it does, it's going to turn into a light blue-gray. I'm going to use that to go in with secondary shading. As you can see, it's starting to get a little lighter as I head down to the bottom of the pants here. Go ahead and refill and tighten that up a little bit. And also, if you keep it a little wet, it's going to blend nicely into it instead of just being a hard line. Once again, anything that's on the bottom right is what I'm going to try and put shading on. But I do like to put little areas of shade in certain other areas to bring out the pants and stuff like that as best I can. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and get out my washes here. And these, same as before, I'm going to be putting in more water than paint. And I think while I do this, it's going to go a little bit too watery, and you're going to see it kind of sit there like a pool. You might not be able to tell, but you can see, like, when my brush goes across it, it moves around a little bit more than it should. So I'll wait for it to dry a little bit, and then I'll touch it up. If you let that sit, you'll see that it starts to turn really faded, which is good if you want to do the faded jean look. As you can see here, I'm kind of going for faded with another technique, though, and that's simply just trying to choose colors that would cause a faded effect. But I do like my vibrant looks. I like the light blue with the vibrant blue type faded jeans. And then also I want to make sure to blend it into my shadows. That way my shadows aren't that harsh, hard line. I want them to kind of gradient into the pants. As you can see, there's a lot of water going on here. If you end up having too much water, all you need to do is dry off your brush and then go back over that area with a dry brush, and it soaks it up like a sponge. You got to be careful how you do it, but let me tell you something, that's what makes this medium forgiving. A lot of people say that watercolor isn't forgiving, but it can be very forgiving if you know how to basically erase. And it's as easy as drying off your brush while the paint is still wet, and then going over that area and simply removing the paint, or blending it into itself. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the situation with painting with black watercolor. Once again, bringing the topic back up, once you paint with black and once it dries, it does not stay black. It turns gray. Better to use a marker with this situation, but I did this just to show you guys what is affected by doing this. And you will see that even though I'm loading the paint down with more paint than water, you're going to see once it dries, it does dry to a gray. It still looks okay, but if you're looking for that true black, it's better to go with a marker or even a gel pen. I don't like gel pens so much. They don't ink very well over pencil, but that is an option for people on a budget or don't use a pencil in the first place or whatever. But you'll see that I'm going to put all this stuff down, and if you look at the eyebrows even now, they're already starting to turn gray in comparison to that black that's in the hair. So it would look better to go at it with a marker, but not all situations require that. Alright, so as we near the end of this tutorial, I hope that you enjoyed it. I find that the best way to do a tutorial is seeing is understanding, so I hope that as you've watched this, some new ideas have come into your head on how to do watercolor, how to draw it properly, even down to body posing and proper facial features. It's amazing what you can pull out of something like this. As you can see, I'm doing the fruits and stuff like that. I'm leaving that little white spot there for a highlight. Did the same thing in Lee's shoes. I wanted to keep the stand kind of grody with like a big bowl in it. So that's what the big red line is there. I'm going to actually shade that bowl in a second, just a little bit to make it look a little bit more bowly. But anyway, this is about the end of the tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Also, make sure that you subscribe, rate, comment. Keep your comments clean, though. We appreciate that a lot. As we like to say, keep it clean. And then, let's see, what else? Make sure you check out my secondary channel, Tim Michael Arts 2, for lots of behind-the-scenes stuff. And producer Chris will be back soon. I had to edit this video. He had to take a day off today and go spend some time with some friends. He needed a break. So, anyway, lots more things to come in the future, as well as hopefully, we're not sure, hopefully, we're going to keep working on the No Clue, the animated series. No Clue, the animatic. And I'm bringing someone in who can hopefully help me out, and if they can help me out, then we're really going to get on a roll. We'll see. It might not work out, but cross your fingers. So, anyway, this is Tim Michael with TimMichaelArts.com. Make sure you check out my website to see this guy, Mr. Lee, in a lot of comics. God bless you all richly, and I will see you on the next video. I love you.